My dad is calling. Dad is calling. Dad is calling. So if you're planning to come to Poland and be it for studying or visiting, like as a tourist, so if you're coming to study, it means you will need a permanent place to sit, permanent address. And if you're coming just as a tourist, it means you will just be here for a long time. So if you're coming to just visit Poland for a few days, I would recommend to get an Airbnb. There's an Airbnb application, but also if you have enough budget, you can go for hotels. There are cheaper hotels, and you can always use. I'm gonna leave the links of these important sites where you can get to book your accommodation if you're coming as a tourist. And then also if you're coming to Poland to work, or you're coming to Poland to study, it means you're gonna need a permanent place to stay. To begin with, the things that I would say are very important before you get your accommodation in Poland. Maybe it could also be to some of European countries, but for me, based on my experience, I sat down and I realized that I had made some mistakes on when I came to Poland, and I had my first I rented a place for the first time, and I actually rented that while I was back in Tanzania. I used a person who was already in here. So there are things that I didn't know, but so I thought, because I didn't have a very good insight about these things, so I should simplify it for you guys. So one thing you need to know, if you're a student and you're coming to Poland, know that the accommodation cost is very high as compared to the keep-up cost. Food is very cheap. I would say very cheap. Dining out is not very expensive, something that you can afford because food is cheap. If you want luxuries, always luxuries, they cost some money. So just for basic needs, it's really affordable. But the only thing, if you're working and you don't have your own house, your parents are not in the country, it means you will have to pay for accommodation as compared to the school fees. So the school fees is high, and then food keep up is very affordable, but the accommodation is very expensive. Usually, if you want a very good place, and I would define what a good place for me is when it comes to accommodation. A good place for me is the one that I don't have to take buses to get into different destinations, to get to my schools, to get to my work area, to get to those are very important places for me. So before I get an accommodation, I consider that it is very close to metro, because metro is the fastest means of transport for me. Usually, always when you're looking for accommodation, ask if the accommodation you are up to is close to metro, it is close to tram, it is close to bus stop. Also, when you looking for accommodation, ask that agent if you got an agent, or ask for that landlord whether the rent that you're paying is including the other costs, other running costs, electricity fee, water, internet, heater, or anything. So you have to ask if this money that maybe you have announced on any site, whatever site that you saw that, or is it including the running cost, or it's just everything is inclusive. Another thing is during summer it might get a little bit hot in your place. Speaking of a room, like how I am living now, and you might want to open a window, and if the window is main road, it means you will be getting all these noises every time you open the window. So I consider also getting a place that is a little bit not on the side of the window, or even if you're getting a big house and your bedroom, just make, this might be very light, but also just make a consideration of not a side that is close to the main road. So now you have your place, you have an idea of where you're going to get in the month. So you pay the rent in a monthly basis, and also you pay a deposit. So the deposit is the money a sort of a security money that you give to your landlord in case, and in the future when you're moving out and there's anything, any distraction that you made, anything that the landlord will say this was not there when you moved to my place, and maybe anything that will not be accepted, I would say, by the landlord. So the money will be there to cover the costs. But in case there's any thing that you did, like any distraction, any fault in the house, the money is being returned to you. That, and then make sure you also agree on the means of paying for your rent. Either you ask whether am I going to give you the money in cash, or I give you on a bank deposit. The issue of contract. Every housing in Poland, and whenever you are going to leave to rent a place, make sure you get a contract. Do not move to a place without getting a contract. And then make sure the contract has the address, the correct address, the correct name of the landlord, and you are like, just to show the legitimacy of the place that you're moving, because this contract is going to help you in so many places. If you need a personal number, if you're going to apply for like a temporary card, resident card, it's gonna be if you're getting a job, they would want to see your address. So it's very, very important. Do not go to a place and move into the place and then the landlord tells you, oh no, I will give you the contract. And make sure they give you, either because you're a foreigner, you want to understand the contract, so make sure you get an English contract and also you get a Polish contract. Yeah, I hope this video is going to help someone out there. And if you're planning to come to Poland and you want to get an accommodation, they have so many choices, so many options. And also I realized there are also like high seasons where you will not get a student accommodation, because many students are coming. This is especially when we are about to open a university, so like beginning of a new year. I'm gonna see you guys next time, and very, very, very great week. Adios. So 100 subscribers, guys.